Welcome back. With us, we have Valley CryoSport, and we have Mindy and Steve. So it's Valley CryoSport, right?
Valley
When you
CryoSport,
Google
Valley
it.
CryoSkin.
Oh my gosh, the skin. That's really cool because you guys do both the cryo with the freezing temperatures. Explain us a little bit about that.
Yeah. We have a whole body chamber.
I've been in there.
Yeah, from the beginning. And that's what you originally started off with.
It was going to be just that initially, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if people don't know what whole body cryotherapy is, whole body cryotherapy basically puts a client into a cold shock. And that 3 minutes in the cold chamber causes the body to go into a fight or flight. In the first about 45 seconds, you're going to get a big adrenaline blast. And that adrenaline blast is going to prepare your body to start repairing cells and push those growth factors, because the body has the false threat of hypothermia. So that's the first 45 seconds, and the following 2 minutes, you're producing all kinds of protein compounds called interleukins. Those interleukins can be inflammatory or anti-inflammatory. So the anti-inflammatory production is boosted by about 60%. And then we suppress the inflammatory of the protein groups. What this does is it produces a more rapid recovery from exercise. It also produces a big endorphin blast. And virtually every professional sports franchise in the country has either access to or a device similar to our own, which is made by Impact CryoSport Company in Atlanta, Georgia. A little story about one of the professional athletes that came into me about 2.5 years ago. His name's Greg Smith. Greg came up through Edison, then Fresno State, and then he ended up playing for the Houston Rockets. He was recovering from a knee surgery, and he'd come back to town to recovery rehab, and he was training very hard with Johnny Olquin over at Fresno State. And Greg told me particularly during preseason, they all were getting into the cryo chamber at least once a day, because they were doing 6 hours a day of hard workout. Oh, wow. And there's no way, according to Greg, he says there's no way we come back and do the same thing the next day. So the science is there, and it's just it's quite phenomenal.
So you helped all of our athletes in the Central Valley. So what made you think, hey, let's help all of us aging ladies and get some CryoSkin in there? Because that's just brilliant. That's what I've actually been there, and it worked, and it was great. Explain the CryoSkin, and I know it was really new and innovative when I tried that 1.5 years ago, and it was like new from France.
Right.
Go in a little bit to that.
Well, I'll describe how I got into the business, and then I'll turn it over to the expert, okay, to describe how this all works. But I was contacted by the now distributor of the CryoSkin company in the United States, and he came to me. He said, "I've got this device that is very similar to Coolsculpting, but it works just as well or better." I'm going, that's got to be a gimmick. Got to be a gimmick. So I was dating a lady at the time that was had been a professional ice skater, a very fit 55-year-old ex-ice skater, 5'10", 140 pounds, so not heavy at all. But she had 55-year-old ice skater legs. I watched them take an inch off each thigh in 30 minutes. I was sold.
Wow.
And that's how we got in the business.
In the beginning.
And then you added so much more since I've been there, because and you changed locations. For everyone that doesn't know, Crunch Fitness.
Yes, we are.
We're in the southwest corner of Crunch Fitness. We have our own entrance, and if you want to enter through the main gym door, you can do so. But also we have our own entrance.
Yeah. So what else did you guys add since I've been there? Because I tried it when it was first kind of new. I tried it under my skin. What else were the new things that you added to it?
So we've just really gotten more in depth as I've been working with the machine for almost 2 years now. It's really been something that it's all I do all day long. So we're
that
really,
machine, it's like tied to you.
It's my baby.
He was almost gonna make you bring it today.
He knew, yeah, I know he knew. As soon as I saw it, I knew that was something that I could do. The technical skill was there. And so
I was thinking of the places I wanted you guys to use it on if you brought it.
You can put it can travel. We don't really travel with it as much anymore, but it does travel. It doesn't really take up a whole lot of space, but it does pack a punch. It's a very strong treatment. And you can put it anywhere. Where you've got skin, you can put it there. Hence the name CryoSkin.
Right.
There are areas that you generally do not want to sculpt exactly. When we're sculpting, that's the Cryo Slimming. So that's for localized pockets of fat where you've got stubborn fat. So popular areas for that will be something like the abdomens, the flanks, the backs, legs, underneath the butt, around the butt. We have something for pretty much everybody. We're customizing this treatment for the person that is coming in. So no two people will have the same treatment. So we have the sculpting, we have the overall, the cryotoning.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that, people. That's amazing.
That's a chin, and that is in one session.
Yeah. Chins respond really quickly. It's a very small area. With the sculpting, you do want to avoid carbs and sugars 2 hours prior, 2 hours after the service, and generally maintain a healthy lifestyle. So we're not creating miracles. We're just optimizing your lifestyle.
Exactly. And Mindy, be honest. Do you ever use it yourself? We're gonna do this and that, right? So that's gotta be so fun. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Before vacation, I'll get in there about 6 weeks before, which allows me to do at least 3 sessions. You want to give yourself at least 2 weeks apart. But for a generally small person who hasn't had children yet, who's under a certain age group, 3 sessions for a small area is fabulous. Most people I do recommend somewhere between 3 and 6 sessions, as the best results are seen somewhere between that 4th and 5th session, where you're about 8 weeks into it. It takes about that long for fat to be eliminated through your lymphatics. So
what would happen if you overdid it, like going in the tanning bed too much? Is there something that's really bad?
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet since we've never done it that way.
Because it's actually newer, so we don't even know.
You could potentially put too much out through the system, so it would just cause possibly a temporary inflammation where you wouldn't feel too well.
Yeah.
But haven't had that happen.
Thank goodness
to anybody yet. Generally, all of our clients are very good at respecting the 12 days to 14-day time frame of when they should wait that time period and then make sure that they get in within that time period. So
okay, so now the technical question: how is it different than Coolsculpting?
Very different, and then also pretty similar. Temperature-wise, they've never really released their temperatures, whereas we know what they are. But with the Coolsculpting, there's a vacuum suction that takes place on the area where you're working with multiple plates being applied to that area. So if you're doing an abdomen, you might have kind of like a belt that's sucking up the area, and it's going to apply the cold, and it's going to stay that way for however long that treatment might be. They tend to be pretty long.
Okay.
Haven't had a session done to myself, but I've heard it's pretty uncomfortable, followed by a few months, up to 6 months of this underneath nodule that you might feel almost like a brick of cold butter. So that's the general, and once that fat has eliminated from the Coolsculpting, then you may or may not have what's called tissue shelving, where the treatment might only work where it was applied. So if you're somebody who has a lot of fat going on in this area and they only put it maybe here, so the treatment might only work here, and so you have this dimpled effect.
And that's funny because as a personal trainer, I've had clients with liposuction, and it's very interesting. They won't have any fat in that one area. They got the liposuction, and the fat is around it. It's something really interesting. I don't know if you've seen a lot of that in your line of work.
I love that you just brought that up. So what brought me into Steve's facility before I started working there was I was working down in LA for a plastic surgeon who was doing Vaser lipo. And so following that, the client would then come see me, the patient would see me for Vaser shape. And so the two would work in combination, and the technique is very similar to what I'm doing with CryoSkin. So I am then smoothing out the patient post-lipo to get those little stubborn pockets of fat. Oh, yeah. So I knew what I was doing. The second I walked into that room, I said, forget a training. We know what we're doing here. And so I do find that my clients who have had previous liposuction, it's the perfect treatment to go in and smooth them out because they do need that. Now, not everybody is going to come in and have had liposuction, or they may not even need it. They just need somebody to go in with the eye of seeing, visualizing the body that person wants to see down the line. I visualize your body and then I sculpt it for you, kind of like a sculpture.
How long does this last typically? I know it's a newer thing, but I mean, I know it's essentially supposed to last forever, but it's the same thing with laser hair removal and stuff. It's like an 80%, but then you still have a little stuff also. Like, what do you guys recommend as far as once you do the 6 treatments, like you suggested, like maybe 10 years later, kind of? What have you seen? Which is hard to explain because I know it's new.
Just don't misbehave and go back to your old eating habits and that kind of thing.
Pretty much.
Because once that fat cell's gone, it's gone. Now, so you're removing. Let's say we're removing, getting rid of 3 millimeters of fat. You've got fat under that could be plumped up.
Right.
Yeah, right. But as long as you're having a reasonable lifestyle, once that fat cell's gone, it's gone.
Okay, so it's not like it's not like an 80%. You think it's like it goes and it's good.
With each treatment, what we do is we chip away at that layer, at those fat cells.
Okay.
And so by the time you get to that 6th treatment, you may or you may not be done. It just depends on what your idea.
Yeah, it depends how much fat you have, really.
Exactly. So once you get to that point, this is why it's really important that we go through the consultation process with you. We choose the client as much as the client chooses us. We want the person that's going to be able to go into this with consistency and be able to maintain their results. What we're creating is a healthier individual.
Right.
My job is the easiest part because all I do is when you come in, I'm smoothing you out. I've got the easiest part.
And you're the sculptor.
I am the sculptor. It's hashtag ice queen. To plug that. But I'm doing my part is the easiest. The hardest part I think is getting the client to follow through with the long term of making sure that they don't go back to their old habits, like Steve said, that you're drinking enough water. We like to know where you are at your baseline. So with each visit, when you're coming in here and seeing me, I've got 12 weeks with you, and I've got 12 weeks to make sure it's kind of like training.
Right.
I've got 12 weeks to make sure that when you're done, you are no longer the same person as mentally and physically that you came in with. You know more things. We've given you resources.
Right.
I was so excited about partnering with Crunch Fitness for this because prior to going there, I can hold the client's hand. I can, we can give you the results that you're looking for. But once you're out the door, I have no control over where you're going to go and what you're going to do.
Exactly.
Well, now I do. I've got all of the control. So you come in through one door and you can actually leave my room and walk right into the gym, which is what I do recommend.
I do like that.
Isn't
that
is
amazing? Really smart because, they're getting the whole...
Very excited. We have a belly button thighs class that we offer there. And the belly button thighs is actually one of the most popular areas. It's requested for the CryoSkin about 75% of the time. So I love that we actually have a way to integrate the lifestyle of the gym, which we've always been trying to promote that with the CryoSkin and the whole body chamber as well. But now we actually have a way to give that to you. And we're pretty excited.
Nice. And then explain the tightening, how the skin, when the fat's removed, how your machine makes it go tighter as well.
Well, it depends on how much fat. So someone like you, your skin's not going to drop down to the ground if I get rid of a little bit of fat. Right. Now, there is the case where you've got fat, you've got skin, you're working with an age group, and so you can't just do just the one with the sculpting and it's one and done. What we do in that particular case is I bring you in weekly. So 1 week I do sculpting, and then the next week, because you can't do that sculpting because you're still in that time frame of you need to wait about 12 days, we do the tightening. With tightening, there is no thermal shock. There's a thermal shock in sculpting. There is no thermal shock in tightening. Technique is completely different, and the idea is to always work upwards. Promote the circulation, the microcirculation of blood, bring oxygen to the area, and with consistency, with enough consistent treatments, usually within a 1 week time frame, what you do is over time, you're promoting more collagen. You're improving the integrity of the skin, and we're doing this all non-invasively. When we're working on
it's not like surgery.
It's not like surgery. We're working on your blood, but we're doing it without causing any incisions. We're doing it without any present blood, but we are working with the blood. That's the beauty of it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, I know your prices vary, but for the people watching, what is the cryotherapy with the prices, and then how does it kind of start? I know the treatments vary, but just so people can get a little bit of a taste of how much they should look and how much it's about.
Yeah.
Why don't you address the CryoSkin?
Well, the CryoSkin, it ranges. We have 1 treatment, we have 3 treatments, we have 6 treatments. Now, 1 treatment is really great if you're somebody who just wants to come test it out, but I will tell you about 90% of the time, you do end up staying and you want to do more.
Right.
So we usually say try at least 3. 3 is a great place to begin something, and if you really like it, then we can move you into the 6-pack, which is usually what most people will do. That's the sweet spot, that's the number. So 1 treatment, it depends on what it is that you're exactly looking for, but sculpting will run you anywhere from $250, which is our chin, to about $500, which is for the body.
Okay.
And then it can go up from there depending on the packages that you're looking for. And then, of course, the bigger the package, the more we work with you.
Cheaper it gets per session.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And then we do have membership pricing as well for clients who've shown commitment. Then they can do.
There's like kind of like there's like a what do you call it?
A membership.
Yeah, but it's kind of like when you get Botox, they have those points that you get. You know what I'm talking about?
We do.
So it's something like that, right?
Yes,
Similar.
yes. Yeah, we do have
So it's like the
Referizer.
point system.
We just launched something called Referizer, and we're loving it. Our clients are loving to use it. They can check in when they're there, and if you come anywhere from 5 to 10 times, I believe you can rack up points, and that equals
so nice.
free sessions.
That's so smart. I'm so glad you guys have all this. This is really cool.
Yeah. Well, Marilyn's been amazing with everything, so we're very excited about that.
I know she's going to come one day and talk more about all that. All that she's doing.
Yeah, it's huge. And then, so with slimming, that's the main treatment, so it can range anywhere depending on what it is that you're looking for. With tightening, that's a little bit, it's a smaller time frame of what I'm spending with the client, different technique, so we do, the price of that is a little bit less. It's not as extensive as the sculpting, so we're able to go down in pricing with that. Off the top of my head, I want to say a 6-pack is something like $1,500. So it's about $300 a session, and it can go up to $1,500 for the 6. So it's pretty much it's a fraction of the cost of what Coolsculpting might run you.
And also surgery.
And surgery.
All of that's very, and that's another thing I liked about you guys was the prices.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get membership and rewards. That's awesome. Is that a newer thing? Because I don't remember back when I came.
We just got into Referizer about 3 months ago.
That is so smart. You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the cryotherapy.
So whole body cryotherapy is a single session is $70, and then I have packages that go all the way down to $35 a session. We have special pricing for first responders. A flat $40, no packages, just a flat $40. Our student athlete price is $40 per session, purchased in a package of 3. And then we also have some first timer programs where we offer 2 for $100 and give you a third session for free. And the reason we do that is because each session builds on itself, because those anti-inflammatories that you're pushing out are going to be encouraged to grow essentially by that third session.
So I know this is a complex question, but does it kind of take away the place of like muscle relaxers, painkillers, or is it bad to mix that? Like if somebody's on something, because I know it's a lot of therapy and people are like,
well, there's half of the clientele that comes in for whole body cryotherapy are athletes of all ages,
right?
And then the other half is they're using whole body cryotherapy for alternative pain management.
Right.
Okay. So and that group, I mean, we've shown good results with patients with clients. I can't call them patients because we're not an FDA
right.
licensed labeled device. But we've got fibromyalgia patients that have come in and
I get that a lot. I get people talking about that. So that's
seeing
so good.
great relief, but also part of the anti-inflammatory process, and then the pushing of the endorphin, it's lifting the brain fog that you're getting with fibromyalgia.
Yeah, because I get complaints about that all the time. I have good friends that have, and it's just chronic problems, chronic pain. So that's awesome that this is an alternative.
So a client can certainly reduce their intake of their painkillers, and also the muscle relaxers. Those are bad actors, man. And this is and backs are one of our biggest our big problem, and we really take care of people's back pain.
Gosh, I wish I would have gone there today.
Yeah.
I should have gone there after the boxing. No, but I've done it before, and it was I'm not going to say it was a pleasant experience. I don't like being cold. But it was I liked the outcome. It was very good. And it's only 3 minutes, so it's not bad, guys.
I love the endorphin rush that I hate being cold myself, and Steve knows this more than anyone. But anytime I do it, and it's usually if I'm in a lot of pain, or if I'm traveling, or if I'm in one of my big fitness, phases that I get into every once in a while, a couple of months.
Your body gets stiff and tight, and
your body gets so stiff
joints,
and tight.
It's like, yeah.
And I'm one of those people. I pay attention to the clock when I'm in the gym because I don't want to be in there more than 30 to 35 minutes. I know that is my number. When I'm in my fitness phase and I may have done the chamber, it's kind of like a pre-workout. I will happily be in the gym, and my time will easily go up to about an hour to hour 15. And I'm happy to be there to put in that time. Now, you take a professional athlete, and that's what they're doing. I didn't believe it until it actually happened to me. That's why they're doing it, because it's pretty much optimizing them versus their competition.
Yeah, and that's
amazing.
Really important.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So before, pre-workout, post-workout, I even recommend it for my CryoSkin clients, being that it helps you burn calories anywhere from 600 to 800 when you're
Yes.
in there.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
huge.
each session, and where do they come up with that number? There's got to be a science behind that. This
it builds mitochondria, the fat burner.
Right.
Very similar to interval training. So it would act as a synergist for your interval training or your working out.
Now, can we talk about, Steve, the fat converting, where it takes the thick yellow fat and turns it into brown fat over time?
Ooh,
that's
yeah.
that's really important.
Well, that's the mitochondria.
That's amazing.
It's called mitochondria.
Mitochondria is the brown fat. That's the stuff that produces energy.
That's the good fat. We don't want the yellow fat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this actually produces an effect on the body that and the metabolism to produce the mitochondria and the brown fat.
Yeah.
So because you work there, do you do this every day? Because that's 600 to 800 calories. And you just go in there?
No, she does not.
Currently, I do not. I might need some assistance from you as far as some training. I'm having some post-holiday, just getting back into the grind kind of a fog. But it's coming. It's coming. My fitness phase is coming. I have one coming this year.
Steve, are you jumping in the cryo machine every day?
Probably 3 or 4 times a week.
So you're doing it weekly. Because that's what I'm saying. All the rich people should build this in their house. Like all the celebrities. They just there's my cryo machine.
Well, Tony Robbins has a cryo spa in his house.
You just add that with the sauna and everything. I mean, I'm serious. Why wouldn't I would do that? That totally.
And probably a good place to look at a good description of whole body cryotherapy is go on and look at Joe Rogan, a podcast with Joe Rogan and Dr. Rhonda Patrick. She's a health researcher.
Thanks for promoting Joe Rogan on my show. I didn't get enough anyway. Just kidding.
But anyway, because it is a 20-minute talk, and she gets in the weeds and she tells you exactly how this stuff works.
Nice.
And it's very informative, and you walk away from that saying, "Oh, this is not a gimmick."
Yeah, no, it's a thing.
Thank you guys so much. This was so informative. And so everybody go, is there any specials right now? It's Crunch Fitness.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've got lots of, we've got a Valentine's Day special for our Cryofacial Deluxe, which is with the chin sculpting, facial tightening, and that
How long does this last for?
The facial, until tomorrow.
Okay, everybody, can they call over the phone and order?
Yes.
If they mention your name, what do you think, Steve? If
Everything
they mention
Sparkle, mention call.
Mention Sparkle, and then we'll
extend it.
We'll extend it to the end of next week.
Yeah.
Oh, yay. Okay, guys, so remember that. What's the special? What is
the
it
special is that it's usually running for $250, but the special is currently $143.
We get $100 off?
Yeah, so it's $143 for the facial because it's a 143 for I Love You.
You know, all of you guys have not gone Valentine's Day shopping yet, so come on. Like, I love you guys are so cute right now. I love it. And then all of you single people, treat yourself to their Valentine's Day present.
Come on by. Come check us out.
You'll be blown away on this facial. It's
We've
just
got lots of facials, lots of categories of facials now, so we can really customize the skin to what it is that you are looking for.
and almost to a person. We have a lot of clients that get facials all the time, and they walk out of there and say, "The best facial I've ever had."
That's sweet.
True, 90%.
I love it. Oh my gosh! Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.